The Chronicles of Narnia, Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Now, this is kind of a fun little fantasy story. It has some excellent shots, like this dinner table that is rich with details, and you feel every item has had some attention paid to it. But on the flip side, you'll also find the occasional shot that has outright errors that you might expect from a bottom shelf conversion. Like this water has some strange pinching at the top. And in this shot, the snow that gets closer to the center where the girl is, the space gets really mixed up. But in the same scene, this shot is excellent with that snow globe feeling going on. So it's a really strange movie, and I feel the bad shots really might steal away the attention from the good ones. But really, the bulk of the movie is somewhere in between, neither terrible, but also not very impressive. The stereo is often a bit more shallow than I like, and the definition of details is often only slightly better than cardboard. Now, Liam Neeson plays a lion with a very specialized skill. He's very good at finding people. It's unclear if he's a memory or a guiding spirit, more likely both. We meet him in this mirror shot, and it's a great CGI of a lion in a mirror, but there's so little detail in the 3D of that shot that it's actually a little maddening to behold. It was such a perfect setup for a wow 3D moment. Now here, this is an interesting shot of a suspended wave that would just look a little bit better if they exaggerated the stereo just a tad more. The stereo information is there. I felt it just didn't go far enough in that moment. And really, for the whole movie, I was really craving the 3D to be as adventurous and daring as the movie itself. This is exactly the type of film that belongs in 3D, so I really wanted it to shine and come alive, but mostly it's just okay, with the occasional moment that's impressive. Now, that mirror shot corresponds to this dream sequence of a war-era reception where the stereo suddenly becomes very outstanding. It's actually a weird contrast from the rest of the movie, but it works in making that dream sequence vivid and separate from the actual storyline. So it kind of works dramatically, but it's weird when the stereo suddenly becomes very good and then goes back to mostly humdrum. Now, I really don't know much about the Chronicles of Narnia. I've certainly heard of it, but I haven't seen the other movies. And I don't recall ever reading any of the books. I've heard it's all supposed to be allegorical, which is something I enjoy looking for in movies. For me, a large part of how I enjoy films is in looking for patterns that feel familiar. There seems to be a spiritual geometry that happens when a story is told. If the elements produce a pattern that feels consistent with the pattern I've observed for life, then the movie feels true, regardless of any fantastical elements. If the pattern doesn't seem to fit anything I've experienced or imagine could fit, then regardless of how real or factual a movie is trying to be, I find myself using words like derivative, paint by numbers, rote, formulaic. It becomes a mechanical experience. And here, although I know this wants to be all very allegorical, I never felt anything more than I was watching a series of curious paintings. Now that's fun, but I felt the scenes served as bases at a ball game that were just visited because they had to be. It felt rote. I rarely felt a connection with the story, and most of my enjoyment was derived from the novelty of each setting, which each had its own gimmick, which, was fun in the moment. Although there were some moments that did inspire thought. Right at the end, and it felt a bit tacked on, but there is kind of a moment that associates the idea of courage and heaven as being really intimately connected. I find that, among many churches, they seem to associate faith with being a better doormat. So I enjoyed, hearing something that contrasted that idea. I suppose now that I think about it, the movie did seem to have an association of being awkward and timid as a road to becoming a monster or a dragon, if you will, which I found interesting. The funny thing about being shy is that it is often expressed in going too far, the exact opposite of shy, always going from 0 to 100. You're either nothing or you're becoming a fire-breathing dragon, when all is really needed is a content, thick-skinned, sword-wielding mouse.